Alright. Getting into it. Overwatch League. Stage 3. Week 3. Hopefully can't hear the others in the background. And there's been since there's been a bunch of snow lately, and now it was kind of raining this morning, and now it's maybe kind of snowing again. It's just, there's been a lot of runoff, and it's kind of loud in the up top. So hopefully that audio doesn't get into the mic at all. But anyway, yep. Predictions today, tomorrow, Overwatch League. So this is an extremely important week for all the teams, especially the ones trying to make Stage 3 playoffs. It's pretty damn close. I'll pull up the standings here. And there's a lot of teams that are competing for those spots that are playing against each other. So it's going to be, this might be one of the best weeks all season. I was looking at the matchups yesterday, and there are so many good ones. So super excited for this. Yeah, so we got the Valiant and Boston. They're first and second. They're 4-0 this stage. Then you got New York. They're 3-1. Philadelphia is also 3-1. LA Gladiators are also 3-1. And then you got Seoul and San Fran sitting at 2-2. And then for the 1-3 teams, I would not count out London yet. They could still go on a run. And maybe Houston sitting at 1-3. We'll see. They're going to have to start closing out their close games, though. So, without further ado, let's get into it. We got LA Gladiators playing against the Valiant. Actually, one thing before. I think I'm going to start doing this as a little stream like these, and then upload as a video on Sunday. Call it Summary Sunday or something. And pretty much going to be talking about what I thought about the matches from the previous 4 days as a whole, because a lot of times I feel because I do my predictions on Wednesday and Friday, and then after the games on Saturday I want to talk about them, but then by Wednesday some of it I forget about, or oh, people have already heard, or you've already seen other videos talking about this kind of stuff. So I think I'm going to start doing that. So look for those on Sunday. Maybe I'll do them on Sunday, upload on Monday, something like that. Just talking about what I thought was particularly interesting about that week, what players stood out, if there was any big news, something that surprised me, something that didn't surprise me. So let me know what you think about that, and I think I might try one of those this weekend. So now, without further ado, LA Gladiators, LA Valiant, Battle for Los Angeles, number 3. Valiant came back from a 0-2 deficit and reverse swept the first matchup to win the first battle for LA. Last stage, the Gladiators came out strong and took all 4 maps against them and won the second battle of LA. So this is the tiebreaker. Both teams have looked really good this stage. Like I said, LA's 3-1, or Gladiators are 3-1. Valiant are 4-0. There's a big matchup for both of them. Valiant are number 5, I want to say, in the overall standings right now. They've got to be 5. Either 5 or 6. They are in one of those playoff spots right now. Let me see. And LA Gladiators are sitting, and you start saying LA. Gladiators are sitting at 13-11. So they're sitting in 8th overall. And the Valiant, so the Valiant are higher than them in the standings. They're 15-9, so they're 2 matches ahead of them. Their map differential is pretty significant as well. Yeah, Valiant they're 6th right now. So matchup of 2 evenly matched teams. We talked about the Valiant making a bunch of changes at the end of stage 2. They have paid off so far. They've won all 4 of their games. They got Custa from the Fuel as their new support. They switched Kareev from the main support to the Zenyatta support. Plus he was playing DPS for stage 2 as well. So he's like the Zenyatta now, and he's been very good at that. So Custer's the Lucio / Mercy / whatever else they need. He's played somewhere as well. So if those changes have been good. They got rid of Envy, their diva player. They brought in Space to be that off-tank player, and he's been extremely good. Just turned 18. Another one of these young guns that's really come on strong and made an impact on the league. So they're looking great right now. They brought in Bunny, so they can pretty successfully run that that Tracer and Widow vibe. Where you got Soon on the Widow and you got Bunny on the Tracer. So that's been fun to watch. I think they're definitely a much improved team, but Gladiators are much improved too. If I had to say one of the teams that maybe it's because I'm biased, but I give the Gladiators a slight edge. It will be interesting to know if Asher is back. He was in Korea last week. I don't know why, and I don't know if he's back. So hopefully he is. If he's not back, that'll hurt Gladiators a bit. Surefour has been very good as his replacement on Tracer last week, at least. But it would be really nice to have Asher back because he is our best Tracer player. And when he's back, he can run Tracer, and Surefour can be on Widow, and they can run some really good stuff. So, the maps they're on: Temple of Anubis, Numbani, Ilios, and then Junkertown. So, I really want to pick Gladiators here. I think overall, despite their record, they are a little bit of a better team, but the map pool favors Valiant. Temple of Anubis has been a great map for them in Stage 1 and in Stage 3. It will be interesting to see what they run, though, because on Volskaya they've been running Bunny and Soon, and they haven't been running Agilities, who's their projectile DPS player. Your Pharah and mostly Genji and Junkrat. So I have a feeling Agilities will play instead of Bunny, because Anubis is probably like the map where Tracer has like the least effect, I would say. I mean, she's still good on it, but in terms of like really good long flanks and stuff like that, I don't think it's as effective. So, and plus they have Soon that they can run on Tracer. So I feel like Valiant are going to run Soon and Agilities. I'm sure the Gladiators will probably run Surefour and Hydration. But yeah, the Valiant have been very good at closing out point 2 on this map, and the Gladiators have not been good at that. The Gladiators are good at defending on this map, and they're good at taking first point. But they have massive problems taking that second point. So I got to go with LA. Thanks, got to go with LA. Valiant in game 1. I think that they will take that one. Then Numbani, I haven't seen a lot of LA. God damn it. Now it's just in my head, so I keep doing it. We haven't seen a lot of Gladiators on this map. I think it might favor them a little bit because you can have Surefour go over to that Soldier or that McCree, and he's a better Soldier in McCree than anyone on the Valiant, in my opinion. Soon has shown that he's got a pretty solid McCree, but I don't think it's better than Surefour's. So that might be a little bit of an advantage on there. Trying to get that high ground. I think that because it's 1-0, I think Gladiators will find a way to win this map, but it'll be very close. It'll go 1-1. Then we got Ilios, which has been strong map for Valiant. Pretty good for Gladiators. Not as good as Nepal, the other control map. So it's a little unfortunate that the Valiant that it had to be Ilios and it had to be Temple of Anubis. I think if it's Volskaya for first map, you were looking at a very different story here. I think this one will be back and forth. You'll probably see Hydration on Pharah versus Agilities on Pharah. So it could go either way. I think the Valiant will take it in a close match. Then there's Junkertown, where it seems like the Gladiators lose a close match on Junkertown every time. They have problems taking second point. And so this one's scary for me. I think the Valiant could very well close it out there. I think just because these teams are they're well matched, and because the Gladiators have some standout performers that can just go off, like Fissure and like Surefour and Asher if he plays, I think Gladiators will take this one in a very close matchup to send it to a game 5. And then an Oasis, I feel like this series is just a toss a coin. Both teams have pretty good mojo coming in. Both teams are motivated to beat each other. I think the Valiant take this one, though. I think the Valiant edge them out 3-2. Could be 3-1. But I think that pretty much Temple of Anubis might not be very close, but I think every other map at least will be very close. And Temple might get close. If the Gladiators, if they can snowball on second point, then they got a real chance. All I gotta do is snowball once and just take that second point. But we'll see. This is a very, very, very good matchup between two great improving teams. So, second, we got Dallas Fuel against the Shock. So, Fuel are 6-18, Shock are 8-16. Well, also news about Fuel. They released their head coach, Kai, and they also released Rascal, one of their DPS players, because the team is just kept losing, so that's why they got rid of Kai, and apparently Rascal, there was communication issues, and like he wasn't getting along great with teammates, and a bunch of other things. I'm not gonna go big in depth with that. I side more with Rascal on this issue, just because of the situation he was put in. But that's neither here nor there. If that's another thing, if you guys want if you want me to do like news as well, like if a big like news story breaks with like people getting released or like a huge controversy in the Overwatch League, if you guys want me to make a video on those, I can, and I'll just like make them when they happen. Just talking about my thoughts about it and what it means for the league. I would be down to do that if you guys would also be interested in that at all. So let me know in the comments. And anyway, so Fuel and Shock, they're playing on Temple of Anubis, Blizzard World, Nepal, and then Junkertown. So San Fran, they actually went back to using Nomi last week against Shanghai. Ugh. And they did eventually beat Shanghai 3-1. Because like I said, I think I mentioned this in like a video a couple videos ago about Super against the Dynasty and against the Valiant. Those two matches that they lost, he was terrible. Like he was just absolutely terrible. Super dying every time early on. Like he was always the first kill. Sinatra got thoroughly outplayed by Bunny in the Valiant match. They were trying to use Architect as Sombra, even though they have Dante, who's way better at Sombra. I was very disappointed in the Shock the last couple weeks. They barely beat Shanghai. Like that their last match in Junkertown, it could have very well gone the Dragon's way, and it could have very well gone to a fifth map. So the Shock are kind of in a little bit of a slump right now, but so is Dallas. Their mindset has to be terrible. Effect and Harry Hook have voiced their displeasure with the team, and Effect had some tweet like if there aren't like improvements in the organization, I'm gonna want out. So that's huge news. If he does leave, this team is absolutely they're fucked. He's their best player by far. He tries to carry them every match. So, but I mean, the Fuel have been playing a lot better too. They've been playing better finally, and then they got rid of their coach. I thought it was a weird time. I thought if they're going to get rid of Kai, it should have been a while ago, not now when they were finally improving, and they kept barely losing all their matches. So yeah, the mindset of that team has to be terrible right now. Their assistant coach Peak is now the head coach. Seeing him in videos, he seems really like awkward, and maybe he just doesn't like the camera, which is understandable. I get that, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a huge improvement with Kai being gone. So two teams kind of shuffling right now. I'm going to go with the Shock here though. I think that Anubis will go to them just because the Fuel have major issues attacking second points, like even worse than the Gladiators' issues with it. So I think that the Shock are just a better team right now. They're a bit more together. It'll be very telling whether it's Super or Nomi playing. I think that will definitely be something to watch. I feel like Super is going to be back because he performed well against the Gladiators in his first match. But then the other ones, he struggled. He wasn't coordinating well with the team. But that being said, I also want to see more Baby Bay from the Shock, especially when when Widowmaker is necessary. He better be on Junkertown, otherwise I don't know what the Shock are doing. Long story short, I'm gonna take Shock in this one 3-1. I think there will be definitely be a map that Fuel takes in there, probably either Temple or Nepal. would be the best areas for them to win. They tend to run some pretty nice comps on Nepal, but they don't have Rascal, and they used to run him on those. So maybe that one will not go well for them. Who knows? I got shock in this one, 3-1. Moving on, Shanghai Dragons, 0-24 against the Dynasty. They're 16-8, coming off a very tight loss to the Gladiators. It went down to the wire. They lost 3-2. I was super proud of the Gladiators, by the way. And to be fair to Seoul, they did lose Fleta after the first map, which is huge because he's their best player. So they lost him. He had some health concerns. He wasn't feeling well at all. So after the first map, which they did win, he left and he did not come back. So that definitely hurt Seoul. Maybe, I don't know. I honestly don't think, even if he was in, I still think the Gladiators would take that one. Because especially Munchkin, like he was playing like Widow as well as his normal Tracer and so much stuff. He played really well, especially in Junkertown. So I don't know if things would have ended any different. He also played very well in Farah on Nepal. So yeah, that was a great match. Go back and watch the VOD of that one if you're a fan of either of these teams, because that was or if you're just a fan of Overwatch, because that was a very fun map. So they're playing on Volskaya, Blizzard World, Ilios, and then Route 66, so we got some different maps than the first two. I feel like Seoul will probably pull out their B team at the start of this, probably, but they really need wins. They need lots of map wins. They're 2-2 on the stage. They pretty much need to finish. They need to finish out 5-1 at least to make these stage playoffs. So they're in a bit of trouble. They need these wins. I feel like at least for the first couple of games. Oh, I'm sorry. Holy crap. I woke up not that long ago, so I'm still like shaking awake. Anyway, I want to say 4-0 here, easy. But if if Seoul does put out their B team and Shanghai coordinates a bit better, we'll see. I think Seoul will definitely take game one. Shanghai's been horrible on 2 CP maps. Blizzard World is the one I could see going Shanghai's way. I'll say sure. They've been improving. I'll say they'll take that one, and then Seoul will bring it back and win game 3 and 4. So 3-1 win for Seoul, but don't be shocked if it's a 4-0. I guess if you're a Shanghai fan, keep looking for that improvement. And hey, if Seoul plays their B team this entire match, it might be your best opportunity to get a match win, honestly. Because Seoul's B team has been very lackluster. So, no, depending on what lineup Seoul throws out, if they throw out all of their main players, and like Flood is back and everything like that, then it'll be a 4-0, no doubt. But we'll see. Their coaching has rolled out some pretty weird-ass lineups. So, moving on to Thursday, we got Houston Outlaws visiting the Florida Mayhem. So Houston is 1-3 this stage, but they got absolutely stomped by Boston. They beat the Spitfire. It was a very strong start for them, but then they got absolutely decimated by the Uprising. And then last week they barely lost to Fusion. They barely lost to Excelsior. They played very well against 2 incredible teams. It was really unfortunate for them that they could not pull out a win on the 5th map on either of them. I think if they had won one of those, that would have been huge for them, and they'd be in pretty decent shape for the overall playoffs, honestly, and the stage playoffs. So Mayhem, they're 0-4 the stage. They're still experimenting with some stuff. They have Awesome Guy, who is a Korean main tank, who they have substituted in instead of Swoosh. I think the long term he will be an improvement, but we'll see. And then the other one is Saya player, who is a Tracer and mostly Widow player. Incredible on the Widow. So he's been playing a lot. They've been doing him and Tavik as a combo, but I think they need to, a lot of people have been saying this, I think they need to take Tavik out for a lot of the maps. They gotta put Logix in there. Even though Logix and Saya player have a very similar hero pool, and I think I talked about this in the last video. I'm gonna keep saying it though until they go back to it. They need to play Logix and Saya player together. They're monsters, both of them. Like in stage 2, like the second half of stage 2, Logix played so well. He was popping heads as Widowmaker. He was creating complete havoc in the backline as Tracer. I think just having those two in there, put Logix on the Tracer, put Saya Player on the Widow, I will sure as hell would not want to play against that. So I'd say that's the main advantage Florida has here. I'd say they have overall a DPS. They could have a DPS like advantage on Houston, but Junkertown, great Junkrat map. Temple of Anubis, great Junkrat map. They have Houston has Jake, obviously. You got Linkser, who should be able to go toe to toe at least with Saya Player or Logix on the Widow. It'll mostly be Saya Player though. So I think, and then otherwise, Houston, they got better. I think they have way better coordination than Florida does. I think their back line is better, and I think their tag line is a bit better. Their tank line's a lot better actually. So big advantage is going to Houston here. But they can't take Florida lightly. Florida's, like I was saying this since like the end of last stage, Florida's a team that you can beat them, but if you don't come out and play well, they can beat you easily. So I think they're definitely like a step and a half up over the Dragons, even though their record is pretty trash. It's 4-20. Still, they're not a team to be taken lightly. I don't think Houston will take them lightly. I think they really want a win after those two really close matchups, and they're not going to allow a map number 5 this time. I think they'll take it 3-1. This one might be a 3-0. Maybe they tie on Anubis. We shall see. But yeah, I got Outlaws taking this one and getting back on the win train. So great matchup after that one. You got Boston. They're 4-0. They've been hot as hell this stage. They lost Dreamcast, like I said, after the horrible, terrible things he did, and mistakes came in, and everyone was like, well, he's not going to be nearly as good as Dreamcasper, and he was extremely good last week. There were a couple of maps where he was kind of iffy, but overall, you got to be thrilled if you're a Boston coach or management or Boston fan. You got to be thrilled, or the other players, with his performance. He was mostly a Tracer coming into the league. He mostly played like Sombra when he played his little bit in Stage 2. But he was destroying people on Widow. I was just like, oof, we'll get him. Wow, it was crazy. There was one sequence on Anubis where he destroyed Saya Player. He destroyed was it Zupe, I think, like right when he was popping Valk. He was popping heads. It was nice. So I mean, if he can keep up like that, Boston. When I heard about the Dreamcaster thing, I thought Boston they're dropping, like they're dropping in the standings. I think they dropped to 8th by the end of the season, but I don't know now. I mean, Gamsu and Striker, just can't say enough good things about them, especially Gamsu. I think Striker's getting a little overhyped right now, but he's a very good player. But anyway, yeah, this team, they're in 4th right now. Man, maybe they could stay here. So they're playing the Spitfire. They're only 1-3 this stage. Boston have been super hot, so this is like the perfect game to pick Boston. I don't know though. For the Spitfire, Birdring has been. Where is he? I'm putting out an APB. Where is Birdring? He's lost. Like I don't know. Did he go to an LA beach and they did the thing where they covered his entire body with sand except for his head, and they just left him there and he can't get out? Is that the man's gone? He hasn't showed up. He hasn't showed up in like 4 weeks now. Like, well, I'm telling you, put an APB out for that man. I don't know. If he doesn't get it together, like Prophet's been playing. Prophet kind of slumped for a little bit, but he played really well last week. I think Gesture, they got rid of the wrong tank. Let me tell you, Gesture is good, but Fissure is better, just in pretty much every way. I don't know why Gesture was the starter for them and why they got rid of Fissure instead of him. But anyway, I'm sure as hell glad they did, because Fissure ended up on my Gladiators. So it's like Spitfire. All right, this is it. I might sound a little bit like a London fanboy at this point. I don't know. I keep picking them, but this is it. You're putting your flag in the ground. You're playing it. You're saying you're not passing. You're not passing by us here. We're 1-3. We're in danger of missing the Stage 3 playoffs already. This is it. No, Uprising. You young bucks. No, Not today. You're not going 5-0. We're winning this. I don't even care what the fucking maps are. London wins it 3-1. They've been fucking horrible on Oasis. So if it goes 2-2, Spitfire are in major trouble. But I think they know that. I think they say, just, guys, we were like the best team, and now we're losing all these matches. What's going on? No, not anymore. People are saying Boston's better than us. No, this is not fucking going down like this. They're going to come out hyped as hell. They're going to win this match 3-1, and they're going to start crawling their way back into the playoff picture. And then, that's going to be an insane matchup. The one after, even better. Rematch of the Stage 2 title. Philadelphia Fusion, New York Excelsior. Holy shit. So many good matchups this week. And there's like really good ones Friday and Saturday too. Temple of Anubis, Numbani, Ilios, Junkertown. Oh man. So in the Stage 2 playoffs, Philly, they came out really strong. They were up 2-0 on Excel. Then Excel said, hold on. This is our stage. This is our stage. This is not your stage, Philly. This is not your stage, London. It's ours. We're winning this. And they did. They came back. They won the last 3 maps. Stage 2 champs. Last week, they lost to Boston. They lost to Boston 3-2. And then they barely beat Houston 3-2. So, a lot of people have been saying that they've been kind of taking it easy. And I agree. They probably haven't been taking it the most seriously. They're like, we're in first place by a mile. Second place is 16-8. We're 21-3. I mean, come on. This is our league. But they are 3-1 right now. If they lose a couple more games, they might be in danger of falling out of the Stage 3 playoff. So, and because they're playing a great team like the Fusion, I think they're going to be extremely motivated. Philly's also going to be really motivated. This is their revenge game. They want payback. I don't think they're going to get it though. I guess it's weird because I was a big fan of Philly coming into the league. If I hadn't picked the Gladiators as my team, I would have picked them as my team just because I like a lot of their players. But lately, I don't know. Maybe it's just because they've been getting a ton of hype. I've kind of been like off the floor or the Philly bandwagon. Like, yeah, they're such a good team. Carpe is amazing. Snillo, really, really good on Tracer. EQO, great on Genji. Still think they should be playing Shadowburn, but that's besides the point. Their tanks, Fraggy. I think Fraggy might be the best Reinhardt in the world. Like, his Winston kind of lacks at times, but his Reinhardt, that shit is legit. Like, I gotta say it's between, like, him, Fissure's up there. Yeah, I don't know. It's got to be up there for like some of the best in the world. But I mean that doesn't really matter because Reinhardt is not going to be used on any of these maps, except maybe if they go to a game 5. There's a couple points that maybe they get used on Oasis. But anyway, usually I'm one that kind of roots against Excel because they're 5 games ahead of everybody. They're 5 games ahead of second place, and I don't want like one team to dominate the league so much. But I do think they're going to win this game. I think they identify Philly as a significant threat, so they are going to, even though it is just another regular season game, and if they drop it, it's definitely not the end of the world for them. I think they are going to take this one. I think they're going to take it 3-1. They're going to assert their dominance. Please put in Big Boss Pine. Have him play against Carpe and Widow. Please. That's all I want to see. And just don't cam anyone else. I don't care. Carpe, Pine. That's it. I just want to see the Widow duel. I think that's everyone should want to see that shit. But anyway, I got Excel winning that one 3-1, and that is the end. That's the end of the predictions. Guess to recap it real quick, I'll go reverse. I got Excel edging out the Fusion in a close series, 3-1. I've got London finally bouncing back and taking down the previously unbeaten this stage, Boston Uprising. Before that, I got Houston getting a big win over the Mayhem. And then today's matches, I got Dynasty beating Shanghai, easily. I got the Shock having some troubles, but overall beating the Fuel. And then I have, unfortunately, the Valiant edging out the Gladiators. I feel like I've picked the Gladiators like too many times in a row, so I'm like, with the map pool and everything, I favor the Valiant just a little bit. I just want a bunch of game 5s. I don't know about you guys. Like I said before, this might be the best week of Overwatch. Yeah, so many amazing matches. So many amazing matches. Usually, towards the end, I say like, oh, if you don't have a bunch of time this week, but if you're gonna go back and watch one VOD, or if you have like the time to watch like one of the matches, here's one. I mean, just depending on your schedule, New York, Philly, that will probably be the best one. Boston Uprising, London Spitfire should also be incredible, and then the Battle for LA is going to be top notch. So I am super hyped for today. I'm going to be cheering on my Gladiators in a couple hours. Then I'm gonna play a couple games of comp. You see, I've fallen so hard